Hello everybody, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to replace a front fender, and I'll be demonstrating this on my 2002 Acura TL Type-S. And as you can see, I was unfortunately sideswiped by an unlicensed driver who was also under the influence and had no insurance. Hopefully you're not in the same situation, but it is time to replace this fender. I'm very lucky that the car is not totaled, so why don't we get started? And now it's time to purchase some parts, starting with the fender since that's what we're ultimately going to be replacing. And realistically, you have two options. You can either buy a replacement fender, which is going to be pre-painted and OEM, or you can buy an aftermarket fender, which is going to be brand new but needs to be painted either by yourself or professionally. So starting with the junkyard parts, this is a pretty cool website. It's called carpart.com. And it locates a bunch of listed parts on all of the junkyard sites into one simple location. So here's the website, and we'll enter our vehicle, 2002 TL, select your fender, sort by distance. I'm just going to enter our random zip code. Let's search, and I need the left driver side. And it looks like we chose Philadelphia. And you can see there's a bunch of fenders within a 1 hour drive. And usually you have to call for the price, but looks like you can usually get them for about $150 or less. And here you go. Look, see, there's a nearly brand new condition silver fender, probably for under $150. That's a pretty good deal if you ask me. And not every junkyard part's going to be listed on this website. It might be worth checking your local junkyard, see if they have anything in stock. But other than that, the other option is to get a brand new aftermarket fender. Here's a brand called Evan Fisher Auto Parts. They've got some pretty good new panels, and you can see it's about $83 free shipping. It only comes pre-primed, not painted, which means either you yourself are going to have to get it painted or get it professionally painted. I got mine professionally painted without blending, and that ran me about $400. Otherwise, you could put the panel on your car, then drive the entire vehicle to the paint shop and have them blend it, in which case that's going to run you a little bit more, about $500 to $600 per panel at that point. Now we're going to come to an Acura Parts website, and we're going to be purchasing some replacement accessories for the fender if we need them, as well as some clips for the bumper and the fender lining. So if you're simply taking your fender off and putting it right back on, or if you're buying a junkyard fender, you probably don't have to worry about replacing these parts because they're already included. Otherwise, if you're buying an aftermarket part, you can just simply transfer them over to the new one. But for whatever reason, if they're lost, broken, damaged, and just simply need to be replaced, they are available for purchase. So we're gonna come to interior bumper and then protector. And here's that little piece of molding that goes on the fender right back here. And you can see they're pre-painted, so that's convenient. Can't guarantee they're going to be available, but it's worth a shot. Otherwise, you can get them at a junkyard again. And then next, we're going to come to interior bumper and then bumper. And here's that little accessory attachment piece that allows the bumper to click in place. It attaches to the fender, and it looks like this. Next, we're going to need to buy some clips since we're going to be removing a bunch of these panels, and sometimes these clips can break, so we're going to make sure we have some replacements on hand. We're going to start by removing this bulkhead cover, and here is the first clip that holds those in. It's bumper clip A. Here's the part number, and you can just copy and paste these part numbers over to Amazon. This Lanty brand seems to be pretty reputable, so I'm just going to be posting a bunch of links to them. Then we're going to be removing this grill that uses the exact same clip. There's the part number again. Then we're going to be removing the front bumper. Here are the clips that are holding that in place. There's the part number. Again, we'll transfer that over to Amazon. And then we're going to be removing the fender lining, and we're going to need some clips for that. It's going to make me come all the way down here to show you. And here is the part number. And here's the Amazon link. So that's everything we need. Why don't we get started? So now we can come under the hood, open the tab there, and open our hood. There we go. And next we have to remove this front bulkhead cover, it's called. There's a bunch of clips all over it that we're gonna need to remove. There, sometimes there. And we're just gonna remove all those clips and remove this piece of plastic trim. An easy way to get these clips out is to use a specific clip removal tool like this one. You can get it for less than 10 bucks on eBay. Basically, you just slide it on under the push tab first, pull up on there, then you can wedge it under the rest of the clip and pry it on out. With that plastic cover removed, we just got 2 more clips to remove from the top of the grill here, right there and there. Next, we're gonna come under the bumper and we're gonna remove a series of clips and screws, starting right there, one right there, just following all the way down. There's another clip there. Just remove all those clips on the bottom now. And then there's 2 more clips under the wheel well that we have to remove before we can take out the bumper. It's kind of located up and under. You'll just need a little ratchet to remove that screw, one on each side. And with all those clips and screws removed, we can finally remove the bumper. We're just going to be careful because there are fog light wires attached, so we don't want to pull on the bumper too hard. So it's kind of held in by a little push tab, so we're just going to kind of come around and pull on it all the way around. Get over here. There we go. So the whole bumper has been kind of released. Now we're going to carefully lift it off. And we're just going to kind of get deep down in there and remove those fog light wires now. Now we're going to remove the front driver's side wheel, and then we have to remove this inner fender lining. There's, again, just a couple clips that hold it in randomly throughout. Right there. Just kind of follow it up. Another back here. Another back there. Just a couple all the way down. We're also going to have to remove this splash guard. If you have one on your car, just hold them by a couple screws. With the bumper and that splash guard removed, we just have one part left to take off, and that is this side skirt. So now we got to come under, and you'll see there's just a couple tabs, kind of like this one. You can unscrew it, and then you can kind of pull right here, and it pops right out. There's just a couple down the whole side skirt. Take those out. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the side skirt and we're gonna pull it forward to kind of pop it loose and disconnect it. It's pretty hard to remove, so you're gonna have to pull as hard as you can. And one thing you can do to help get a grip is put your foot on your rear tire. So let's give this a go, see what I can do. Woo. That actually went pretty good. First try. All right. With it popped forward, we can now kind of carefully wiggle it the rest of the way off. There we go. And let's get the front. There we go. I'll be careful of my wires because I've got some underglow lighting. And then that's going to reveal the last screw down there. Now we're going to remove the headlight, and we just have 5 bolts to remove. We'll start by coming under the headlight, and there are 3 bolts attached to this bumper cover beam. There's 2 right here, 1, 2, and around the side we got 1 on top right there. The last 2 bolts are located up here, 1 right there and 1 right there. Now we just need to remove 4 electrical connectors, 1 for the high beam, 1 for the HID, 1 for the churn signal, and this bottom one here, which is the daytime running light. Now we're going to remove the 7 bolts holding this fender on. You got 1 up front right here, 2, third one's at the front. Just work your way down. We got 4, 5, and then the one down here, 6 behind the side skirt, And then the 7th one, you have to actually open the door. That's gonna reveal a bolt right there. 7. So let's remove those 7 bolts. And with those 7 bolts removed, we should hopefully just be able to pull it right off. Hey, there you have it. So we have our brand new and painted fender, and it's time to put it back on the car. So let's just carefully line it up. And I might recommend having some of your bolts on standby, ready to go, so you can just help hold it in place for the meantime, so you can get it in position better. There we go, and we'll just carefully work our way around, get the rest of those 7 bolts in. So we have all 7 bolts loosely installed, but before we snug them down, it's important to note the front back position of the fender, because if the fender is too far back, when we try to close the door, it's gonna rub up against the fender, so we gotta be careful of that. So I might recommend loosely installing the bolts. Ensure that your fender is far enough forward that your door can close. You can kind of pull the fender forward a bit, and our door should be able to close without making any contact. You can see it made a little contact there, so we're just going to position the fender forward a bit, and then we'll snug the bolts down. And when positioning the fender, you want to make sure that's lined up nicely with this A-pillar. You might need to take one hand, pull up on the fender, while using your other hand and a wrench to tighten down that nut. And then once it's in place, you can just snug all these bolts down by hand. There's no torque spec for any of them. Just use a simple small 1/4-inch ratchet, snug them down, and that should be good enough. Now we can work towards putting this headlight back in, and we just gotta connect 4 electrical connectors first, starting with that high beam, then the HID, then the turn signal, and lastly that daytime running light down there. And before we get too far, now would be a good time to make sure all 4 bulbs are working. We got the high beam, the HID, the turn signal, and the DRL. Then to slide the headlight back in, we got these 2 little stems. We're gonna line those up with the fender. Kind of slides in place. And then we're also gonna line up these 2 bolts up top here. And we're gonna loosely install these 2 bolts. With the headlight in position and these 2 bolts up top loosely installed, if we come under the headlight now, we should have these next 3 holes already lined up. Those 2 right there, and this one right here. And then we have to take this front bumper cover beam, and it just kind of goes in place over those existing holes. And we're gonna put the bolts in, and then we can snug everything down after that. Now we can put the side skirt back on, and we're gonna come down here, and you see all these white clips going all the way down? We gotta transfer these down to the side skirts. We can just simply take it, twist it, pull it straight out, and then we can line it up, slide it back in their respective little clip holders, and click it in place. We'll do that all the way down. Now we're just gonna line those clips up with the holes that they go into, and we're gonna just simply push it back in place, all the way down. There we go. Before we put the bumper back on, and in case you're getting a brand new fender like I am, make sure you switch out this little bumper clip onto your new fender. And also, doesn't matter when you do it, but don't forget to put that little piece of attachment trim back on the fender as well. And then we can reinstall the fender lining and reattach the splash guard as well. And again, it's super handy to have a bunch of spare clips so that way you don't have to worry about breaking them. So now we can work at putting the bumper back on. And to start, we're just gonna kind of loosely place it on there. You can see it's not really on there all the way. And then we're gonna come under the car and we'll look on up in there and we can reattach each of the fog light electrical connectors. So now we're gonna slide that bumper in place. You'll see that there's this lip on the bumper as well as this black part under the headlight here. There are these little tabs, it's gonna slide in there, as well as these little bumps. These little holes in the bumper will slide over those bumps and lock in place there. And we're also just gonna line the bumper up along here as well, get that in place. So here we go, we'll kind of start out at the side. Push that forward. Just kind of clicks in place. Same thing here, just kind of push it in. Now we'll work on the other side. Kind of start with the side a little bit. Work it in, press it. Press it in place. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Now we can work at putting all those clips on under the bumper. Also, don't forget to reinstall these 2 screws hidden up under the wheel well here. And then don't forget these 2 little clips on top. And then we can work on putting that long piece of plastic trim back on. Then you can put your wheel back on and torque those lug nuts down to 80 foot-pounds. And there you have it, everybody. We are all finished replacing the fender on this vehicle. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I'm always pretty good at getting back to people. And feel free to subscribe or you're gonna see more videos like this. Also, don't forget to check out the description where there's gonna be more information, links to parts, as well as timestamps to better navigate through the video if you wanna look back on anything. So as always, thanks for watching, have a great day, and take care.